Just off the coast of Florida, something unexpected is rising from the water. Enormous cranes tower over turquoise bays, new terminals stretch across the shoreline, and deep-water ports capable of handling some of the world's largest ships are appearing throughout the Caribbean. And almost no one is paying attention, because whether it's a port in the Bahamas, a container terminal in Jamaica, or an expanded harbor in Cuba, all of it has one thing in common: China. For the United States, this development is happening right on its doorstep, and it forces a question far bigger than the construction itself. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. Over the last decade, China has quietly become one of the most influential infrastructure partners in the Caribbean. Projects once expected to be financed by Western organizations are now being built with Chinese loans, Chinese engineering teams, and Chinese state-linked companies. It has reshaped skylines, rebuilt ports, and connected regions with highways that didn't exist before. To understand why this is happening, you have to go back to the beginning of China's global strategy. In 2013, China launched the Belt and Road Initiative, a monumental development program aimed at building railways, highways, energy plants, and ports around the world. Today, more than 150 countries have signed on, making it the most wide-reaching infrastructure investment plan of the modern era. Ports sit at the center of this strategy for a simple reason. More than 80% of China's imports and exports move by sea. Every shipment of electronics, raw materials, and manufactured goods relies on stable maritime routes. To support that flow, China began investing heavily in global port access in Europe, Africa, South Asia, and increasingly in the Americas. The Caribbean may be known for resorts and beaches, but strategically it plays an outsized role in global shipping. It surrounds the Panama Canal, one of the most important trade gateways in the world. It lies on the routes that connect North America, South America, Latin America, and European markets. It sits close to major U.S. ports, energy terminals, and naval corridors. For China, building a presence here strengthens trade connectivity and positions it near key shipping lanes. For the islands themselves, it offers something even more essential: investment. Jamaica shows how this transformation unfolded. Kingston sits near the Windward Passage, a vital route for ships heading to and from the Panama Canal. As global container ships grew larger, Jamaica needed deeper berths and modern infrastructure to stay competitive. In 2016, a consortium including China Merchants Port took over management of the Kingston Freeport terminal. Engineers deepened the harbor, expanded the storage yards, and upgraded equipment, allowing the port to handle some of the largest ships operating in the Atlantic. China's involvement didn't stop there. A Chinese engineering firm built a $700 million highway connecting Kingston with the island's northern coast. In exchange, the company received long-term development rights for nearby land. There was even a proposed mega-project on Goat Islands, intended to serve as a major transshipment hub. But environmental concerns and public pushback halted it. Even without that project, Jamaica emerged as a critical link in China's maritime network. The Bahamas presents an even more striking case. Freeport, located just 55 miles from Florida, has long been a key transshipment hub. After hurricane damage and economic challenges, Chinese-linked investment helped expand the port and modernize surrounding infrastructure. Management shifted to Hutchison Ports, a Hong Kong-based firm with ties to Chinese state companies. The result is a port capable of handling some of the region's largest volumes of container traffic. In Nassau, Chinese financing backed several major developments, including the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar Resort, road upgrades, and national facilities. On a per capita basis, the Bahamas now ranks among the countries with the highest levels of Chinese investment in the entire Western Hemisphere. To the islands, it brought construction, jobs, and tourism capacity. To the U.S., it introduced Chinese-backed projects in some of the closest waters to American shores. Cuba's situation is different, but no less significant. At the Port of Santiago, China funded a $120 million modernization program. Engineers dredged channels, reinforced piers, and expanded facilities to accommodate larger vessels. At the deepwater port of Mariel, Chinese cargo traffic has grown steadily, and analysts expect more investment as global companies seek alternative shipping routes. Because Cuba sits only 90 miles from Florida, any increase in Chinese involvement immediately raises attention in Washington. For Cuba, the motivation is straightforward. Decades of economic isolation have left the country searching for partners, and China offers financing and equipment with few political conditions. The reason Caribbean nations repeatedly turn to China comes down to need. Many islands struggle with aging infrastructure, limited export capacity, reliance on tourism, and vulnerability to hurricanes. Domestic budgets are small, and Western financing often arrives slowly or with complex requirements. China offers something different: loans with long repayment periods, fast construction timelines, and state-backed engineering teams capable of delivering large projects quickly. Many governments say these investments moved forward work that had been stalled for years. It filled development gaps at a time when the region needed them most. But these deals come with long-term considerations. Chinese loans often extend decades into the future. Critics warn of potential debt risks, pointing to Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, which was leased for 99 years after repayment problems. While the situation is more nuanced than its reputation, it is frequently used as a warning for smaller nations. In the Caribbean, no port has been seized or taken over. In many cases, China has restructured or forgiven parts of the debt. But long-term dependence always carries financial and political risks, especially when infrastructure lasts far beyond the governments that signed the agreements. For most of the last century, the United States assumed the Caribbean was inherently within its sphere of influence. Proximity, history, and security ties made the region a natural partner. But as China stepped in with financing and construction capacity that the U.S. wasn't offering, the landscape shifted. In recent years, Washington has voiced concerns about potential dual-use facilities, data vulnerabilities, and intelligence risks. Diplomatic outreach has increased. New development packages have been announced, but Caribbean leaders often pose the same question. If the U.S. and Europe were worried about influence, why weren't they offering similar financing before China arrived? Despite the geopolitical tension surrounding these projects, the core story in the Caribbean is about infrastructure. It is about ports, roads, and facilities that needed investment long before global powers began competing over them. For China, these ports strengthen trade networks and support long-term economic goals. For Caribbean nations, they bring practical development, opportunity, and the chance to modernize systems that have been overdue for upgrades. For the U.S., they raise questions about access, alliances, and the future security landscape. And for global trade, they reshape how goods move across continents, especially through routes linked to the Panama Canal and the Atlantic. So, why is China building ports across the Caribbean? Because the region needed development. Because shipping routes matter. Because the U.S. left a gap. And because China stepped forward where others didn't. As these projects redefine the future of Caribbean infrastructure, a larger question remains. Should these countries turn away development simply because it makes another superpower uncomfortable? Let us know what you think below.